You are watching On Demand. Please do not try to vote or enter any competition or other interactivity in this programme, as it may not count and you may still be charged.
Today on your Loose Women Live, it's Ruth Langsford, Colleen Nolan, Janet Street Porter and Frankie Bridge.
Thank you very much to our lovely studio audience, and a warm welcome to you at home. Oh, someone's just dropped something. Steady on. Welcome to you at home. This is your Tuesday's Loose Women. And coming up today, after an impression of some of us loose women went viral on social media, we're asking, how important is it to be able to laugh at yourself? And can you believe it's Pancake Day already? Pancake Day already. Yay. Well, yes, it creeped up on me. Oh, come on. Come on.
You've just ruined Pancake Day.
Up on me.
That's actually good.
It doesn't work the second time.
I know, sorry. It's worth a try. Anyway, we're going to be having our favourite pancake toppings a bit later, but if you aren't a fan of the simple sugar and lemon topping, we'll be revealing all the weird and wonderful pancake styles and toppings that you love. And now our guest today, she's a two-time Olympic medalist, but for Fatima Whitbread, life wasn't always so golden. She'll be sharing how she fought the odds to become the champion she is, despite a very traumatic childhood. And we're starting talking about Roald Dahl. Now, he has given us some of the country's favourite children's books, the world over, actually. Matilda, James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, just to mention a few. The list goes on. But now, a decision by the publishers to replace some supposedly offensive words in those classic stories is causing uproar. This includes swapping the word fat for enormous and ugly with beastie, and so many people are wading in on this. Yesterday, the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, he hit out at the changes. He actually quoted Roald Dahl's BFG, the Big Friendly Giant, in a warning not to gobble funk with words. It's a great word, that, isn't it? I have to say, there's practically every day there's a story like this, isn't there? You know, this is going to upset somebody, this is going to offend somebody, we need to change this, we need to change that. I go, kids actually find these books funny and amusing. We all did, our children read them. Good always reigns over evil in the end. And my point is, we are just starting to wrap up our young people in so much cotton wool, they're going to be frightened of their own shadows soon. You know, you have to allow them to make their own minds up about something. I have no problem with possibly a warning on a book saying this book may contain contains language that some people may now find offensive. It was written in 1967, and then you have a choice. But to start rewriting and taking things out from such a famous author who's so loved the world over by children, I think is wrong, and I think it's dangerous, and I think it will lead on to they won't be scared to go out of the house soon in case something offends them. It's too much.
I agree. And what made me laugh slightly there was they're changing the word fat to enormous.
Yes.
Oh, because that's much better.
Yeah.
You're not ugly, you're beastly.
You're
You're enormously beastly.
Well, the
thank you for not saying I'm fat and ugly.
The character Augustus Gloop in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, who was the fat one, which we're not allowed to say now, the actor who played him as a child is saying, I wasn't offended at all. No. I loved the film, I loved the story. You know, and he actually played the part, and he said, I think he's from Bavaria, and he said, we like our food here, we are a little chunky. He wasn't offended by it. So... And I'm not saying, listen, I am not saying there are words that we will no longer use which are offensive, and we now know. And when we were children, there were words that we didn't know or realise were so offensive. And they're absolutely right. But I still don't think you should go back into literature and art and
just let the book die a death.
Yes.
Just keep on publishing it.
Yeah.
If no one wants to buy it, no one wants their kids to read it, it'll just go out of print. Simple as that. I mean... I grew up on a book called Fatty Puffs and Thinifers, and all the Fatty Puff people lived in big chunky houses in double beds with big swag curtains, and, well, you can imagine, and all the Thinifers lived on little bunk beds that tipped them out every 20 minutes. And, of course, it was ludicrous. But the other week on Loose Women, I think I used the fat word, and you could, oh, she said the word. So I just agree with you completely, Ruth. And fat isn't the only word that's been changed in the book. Black has been changed. It's been removed because someone's wearing a black coat or something.
It was the BFG, I think, was wearing a black coat. But he is wearing a black coat.
Yeah. What do you think, Frankie? Because you kind of agree a bit, didn't you?
No, so I don't agree with changing it, and I agree with you. If people are offended by it, they don't have to buy it, they don't have to read it. And I don't think we should be erasing everything that happened in history, because also then with something like that, people aren't going to learn what is now offensive in that book, or why it's offensive. And I agree with you in that changing the words, they're still offensive, and then eventually someone's going to be offended by those ones, and they're going to become the new offensive words, and then we're going to have to change them again. So I don't really believe in that, and I think kids aren't silly nowadays because they're being brought up around this, so they're kind of learning mostly.
But you don't like the word fat.
No, but I was just about to say, so they're kind of learning what is right and wrong. But for me, as someone, I grew up saying fat, and I am now aware in my household, if Wayne or I say, I feel really fat today, I'm really trying to stop that between the two of us, because hearing that word coming out of my children's mouth, whether it's about themselves or about someone else, just sounds horrible. I don't want them to feel fat. I suppose it's more about the connotation of it, of like me being aware that my 7-year-old or my 9-year-old is aware that they might feel fat, because that's what we've been saying. In the same way, I don't like the word shut up.
Yeah, but say you were reading a Roald Dahl book and they use the word fat, then I'm assuming you would have a conversation with your child, age-appropriate conversation, to say, do you know what, that's a word that I don't really like, and I don't like it because of this, or you wouldn't let him read it. And actually someone's made it, it's an author, I can't remember whose name, saying, well, there'll be second-hand copies of this book, originals, all over the world. He said, what are you going to do, go around and start scrubbing out the words with a marker pen?
I know, and look at Charles Dickens, Great Expectations, Scrooge, Miss Havisham, fantastically upsetting characters in beloved books. I just think it's terrible.
Also, most lullabies and kids' little songs that you get taught when you're growing up are like not actually very nice.
Well, let us know what you think. I did have a thing from the publishers, but I can't find it. Okay.
Well, you've got so much.
I've got so much. I've got
I've never known anyone make so many notes, and now you can't find them.
And highlighted. Thank you.
Oh yeah, highlighted.
Highlighted.
Stationery queen. Yeah.
And she still can't remember. It's going well.
It's not there. Now, what we're talking about? Oh, yes, we're talking about honesty. Now, this has had Janet and Frankie on the edge of their seats. It's a gritty new police drama called Better, and it follows a Detective Inspector, Louisa Slack, who is a corrupt officer looking for redemption.
Good morning, Mom.
Welcome to Leeds, lads. 70% of the cocaine in this city flows through him. He started off as my informant, but then he started to ask for little favours.
I wouldn't be here without you.
Built my career off the back of his information. Turn a blind eye to what he was doing. I'm not sure I can do it anymore. I'll be better. What's on your mind?
Your mind is on my mind.
There's only one way out. It's got to go down.
Oh, looks good. Janet, why should we be watching this? Why do you like
Well, it's very, very unusual to see in a police drama a corrupt police woman. And Lila Fazzad is fantastic in this role. Right from the outset, you're left in no doubt. She's done really well in the Leeds Police Force. She's risen to the top as a detective, but for the last 20 years, she's been without ruining it for anyone who's watching, because this is the premise from the very start. She's utterly corrupt, and she's been taking money from a drugs baron. So why I find it fascinating is that she's completely believable. Her whole life is a lie.
Right.
I've watched the 2 episodes so far, and she's lying to everybody. She's lying to her husband, lying to her son, and she's really good at it.
I've finished it, Janet.
Oh.
No, don't tell me
I know what happens at the end.
Why do you love it? Same
I don't know, I think the same. I think there's just something really, I suppose not nice, but it's just interesting to watch a woman play that lead role that normally is generally given to a man, and seeing her manage to fit in family life and, you know, this huge role as a policewoman and also being involved with drug dealing and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, and like you said, she's so good at it.
I suppose we're not used to seeing women in those roles, like a bad cop woman.
Yeah, when you think in Happy Valley, the central character played by Sarah Lancashire brilliantly spoke the truth, her truth, or whatever, you know, she was honest.
Yeah.
Compellingly honest and almost uncomfortably honest, and now we've got a policewoman who's a complete liar.
But it does beg the question, then, are women good liars that we just... Who's a good liar? Put your hand up if you think you're a good liar. Are you a good... Come on, be honest.
Well, no one's going to admit that.
No,
well, I'm going to
Janet
admit it straight away.
Yeah.
I'm a brilliant liar. I'm a really, really good liar.
What makes you a good liar, though? Why
You can't really tell when I'm lying because it's just like... It's really
rolls off
complicated.
her tongue.
Yeah, it just rolls off the tongue. And it's true that in my life I have told a load of lies, and especially when I've been a boss and I've had to tell someone I'm going to dispense with their services or whatever. I always make it sound like promotion rather than demotion.
That's a good trick.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible liar. I try and lie sometimes. I have lied in the past, but I'm always found out because I've got little things that you'll know I'm lying when I scratch my neck.
Their neck.
Always scratch my neck when
Do you
I'm lying.
lie to your sisters?
Oh, God, all the time.
What about when they ask you to do something?
No, I'm actually quite honest in that respect. If I don't want to do something, they go, oh, we're all doing this today, you're coming? And I go, no. And they go, why not? And I used to think up reasons. Now I just go, because I don't want to. And it kind of floors them. There's nowhere to go with that.
You have to have a good memory to be a good liar.
That's the thing.
I hate lying and I'm not good at... I over-explain.
Yeah,
And
and
then I
that's
can't
what most
remember what I've
liars
said.
do.
Yeah.
That's how you get caught out, I suppose. I think, like, the main time I lie is if I'm trying to get out of doing something. So I'll try and stick to the truth as much as possible. But now I do try and just say, oh, I can't make it, and not give a reason.
Yeah.
But I think women aren't necessarily... I wouldn't say men or women are better or worse at lying or do it more than the other. I think it's just we kind of get away with it more, one, because people just assume maybe that we don't lie, and because we can go...
Well, they'd be wrong, because according
with
to a recent poll, women are twice as likely to lie than men, ladies. Yes. Women lie more often than men, up to 30 times a day.
That's
That is true, because we do that thing of, oh, you loaded the dishwasher really well.
Yes, well done, darling.
I reckon it's more about people-pleasing that.
Well, actually, you're right, Frankie. She says an overwhelming majority of women's lies are told to make someone feel better, to avoid trouble or to make life simpler. Little white lies. We're nice liars,
We're
aren't
nice
we?
liars.
Smiley
We're
liars.
nice, smiley liars.
You look gorgeous today.
So do your hair. Your hair's so shiny and lovely, Colleen. Very good, very good. OK, we've got to take a break now. I'm going to go. We're going to have a pancake party a bit later on, and after Patsy Kensit is going to be walking down the aisle for the 5th time. Is it important to remain a hopeless romantic? And with a few trips down the aisle between us, we're asking whether there should be a limit on the number of marriages one person can have. Janet. See you after this. Welcome back to Lucy. Oh, nice. Full voice from our studio audience today. Now, still to come on Lucy Men, we're going to be talking about multiple marriages, hence the music. But is there such a thing as getting hitched too many times? I'm not saying anything, Janet. It's just a question I'm putting out there to everybody. And our guest today proved that she still got it when she took on the challenge of celebrity SAS Who Dares Wins last year. Fatima Whitbread will be joining us to reveal how her traumatic childhood in care homes has led to her fighting for other children in similar situations. Before we do any of that, competition time for you. It's the biggest one of the year so far. Listen to this. A cool £250,000. It's amazing. And Josie's got all the details for you.
Here's your chance to win big. We've got a massive £250,000 to give away. But what would you do with it if you won?
If I had £250,000, I'd probably spend it on a house on one of the Greek islands, obviously, life in the sunshine.
If I had £250,000, I would spend it on a luxurious sports car.
I'd come back here to beautiful Cyprus and stay much, much longer.
Remember, every prize has a guaranteed winner, and our team are standing by to make that call. And our February fortune is supersized. If you enter this week, you'll also be in with a chance of winning our bonus prize, a 3-bedroom Park Dean holiday home worth more than £105,000. There are 15 parks across the country where you could have your own home if you win. For another chance to win, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Home 08, PO Box 7558, Derby DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 3rd of March. Make sure you enter before 4 p.m. on Friday the 24th of February for a chance to win the holiday home. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Josie. Yes, good luck. Now, actress Patsy Kensit has got a lot to celebrate after getting engaged at the weekend. Her partner, Patrick Cassidy, popped the question right by the ocean in a heart made of rose petals. I know it's like something from a movie, isn't it? Now, despite once vowing never to walk down the aisle again, this will be Patsy's 5th marriage. So this is a lot of marriages. There are some people, Colleen, who said, not just about Patsy, but generally saying, you know, should there be a limit on how many times you can get married? Does it kind of just water down the whole reason people get married?
You can't put a limit on love. Just can't, can you? I mean, I swore after my second divorce for a long time, like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not... You know, I won't give up on having relationships or falling in love. I love romance, love being in love. But I thought, I'm not getting married again because I've done it twice and I loved being married and both times it was forever. But when it doesn't work out, the getting out of it is just awful and nobody wins really except solicitors and lawyers and things. So I thought, I'm never getting married again. But then as time's gone on, I think I'm probably the type that would get married again because I loved it.
You like being married?
I just like being married, yeah.
Because you got married, well, I think very young.
Yeah.
22, was it?
No, I was 24.
24.
Yeah, it is young. And I already had Parker at that point, which is, again, I think, quite young to have kids.
Did you feel that you were young then?
No, and that's the thing. At the time, I didn't feel young at all. And when I look back, like, obviously, I don't regret it, but when I look back, I think, oh, gosh, I was so young. And if I met anyone at that age now, I'd be like, no, go live your life. You've got loads of time. But I had so much of a life before that. You know, I'd been working since I was 12. So even my friends, they were like, if it was any of the other of us, I can't find my words, sorry. You know what I mean? Then everyone would have been like, what are you doing? But because it was me, it was different. But I don't regret that. Because you'd done so much
by that age with the band and travel and...
Yeah, but I think often people get married so many times is because of the love of love. And I think every relationship's different, which is why you can't say you'd never do it again, I think. And I think sometimes people are looking for happiness in other people instead of being able to find it themselves. And some people are like Janet and just enjoy it.
Exactly. Thank you, Frankie.
Yes. So why...
Suddenly I'm the expert. I love that.
Well, you are.
You are.
Well, I got married. My first marriage was at 20 and I'd already been engaged and dumped someone before that. So,
that's your first.
What a lovely dress.
Nice.
You don't even look happy there about it.
Oh, I am happy. I know, it's a lovely dress. It's by Ozzy Clark. Yeah, I remember getting married. That was 1967, Summer of Love and blah, blah, blah. And that lasted 7 years. And, you know, we had a great party when we got married that time. And I think the best reason to get married for me has always been getting married, love getting the dress, getting the outfit, having the party, and then when you get divorced, you get the dress, you have the party all over again. And quite honestly, my first 3 marriages ended in very amicable divorces.
Yeah.
It was only number 4 that I've airbrushed out. That was a bit of a midlife crisis and a cry for help. But
So
you know...
what would you say to people that say, oh, it's just too many? It's like you're making a mockery of marriage.
I'm not making a mockery of marriage because I committed to the marriage at the time and I committed to it for as long as I could possibly manage it. No, manage it. And, you know, I'm a very good wife. I'm a good partner now. I do my best. I mean, I've got my faults, but, you know, I'm not going to reveal them on national television, obviously. But
we haven't got that long. We've got to be off.
No, but honestly, when I read my teenage diaries, they're full of romance and lust and, you know, and all the boys that looked at me and I looked at them, and it's all very, very exciting.
Yeah. Well, interesting
you
say that because Emma Thompson, the actress Emma Thompson, she was doing an interview and she mentioned love, and she said she described romantic love as a myth that can be quite dangerous. She said, we really do have to take it with a massive pinch of salt. To think sensibly about love and the way it can grow is essential. Long-term relationships are hugely difficult and complicated. If anyone thinks that happy ever after has a place in our lives, forget it. She's saying we're often fed this kind of fairy tale of your one true love and the marriage that will last forever and ever and happy ever after.
By marriage number 3, I didn't, you know, the fairy tale idea had gone out the window. I think that, you know, you're as compatible as you can be. Your work changes, your circumstances change. I had stepchildren along the way. You know, that's the reason why my marriages didn't last or did last. And I honestly gave them the best that I could. I'm sorry if it feels a bit weird.
No, it doesn't. And you don't... Well, everyone to each their own, but you don't regret any of them either. You've never said, I regret marrying him or doing that. You said...
Well, I wouldn't dignify the false one by describing him in any... I couldn't describe him on television during daytime, I'm afraid.
Because then we would be off the air.
Yeah. And I think most people go into the marriage forever. I do think most people would say when they're up there, that's what they were expecting. If it doesn't turn out that way, that's just
well, like you said, you know, whether it lasts or not, you go in with the intention of this is the one, this is going to last, and sometimes it doesn't. OK. Well, that's our thoughts on marriage today, people. We'll leave you with those while we take a break. And still to come, we're going to be revealing our most hated words and phrases, as well as testing out some quite controversial and disgusting-sounding pancake toppings. Also, Olympic legend Fatima Whitbread will be here. She's our guest today, and she is fighting for children in the care system and will be opening up about her own childhood experience in foster care. So lots for you. See you in a couple of minutes. Tuesday's Loose Women. It's lovely to see you and keeping you company until 1:30. It is me, Ruth Langsford, along with Colleen Nolan, Janet Street Porter and Frankie Bridge. So Shrove Tuesday today. Pancake day. Would you try this on yours? Yeah, ketchup. Apparently people do. Yeah, it's true. Condiments. Apparently on pancakes are a thing. I know you hate that word, Frankie. That's another topic we're doing.
It's like a double whammy, though.
And we're going to be putting all these new toppings to the test and having some of our favourite ones as well. So looking forward to that. Well, maybe not that. And after an impression of Frankie has gone viral on TikTok, we're asking whether it's important to be able to laugh at yourself. We were certainly laughing at her earlier on. But let's get to our guest today. She is a sporting icon. She became an Olympic medalist in the 1984 and 1988 Olympic Games. To the millions watching her javelin throwing achievements at the time, Fatima Whitbread was the epitome of a strong, powerful woman. But even at the height of that success, Fatima always carried the weight of her difficult childhood, which included being abandoned by her mother when she was a tiny baby. Now she's fighting on behalf of children in care homes across the country. So here to tell us all about that, please welcome Fatima Whitbread. Hello, Frankie. Hi, Colleen. Lovely to see you.
How are you doing?
Good to see you.
And you?
I have to say, Fatima, I had absolutely no idea about your childhood. So it's going to be fascinating talking to you. And the reason that you are talking about it to us is that you've teamed up with the charity Action for Children. So this is something very, very close to your heart. So before we talk about what you're doing with Action for Children and moving forward and how you're trying to help kids now, just tell us about what happened to you, because you were abandoned as a baby.
I was abandoned as a baby. Well, firstly, I'd like to say National Childcare Day is coming up. And we have, some 10,000 children in the care system at the moment. And National Care Day is about foster care helpers. And we currently have the best we've ever had at the moment, but we still need a lot more.
A number of foster carers.
A number of foster carers, yes. And every child has a right to a safe and happy childhood. So and this is why I've teamed up with Action for Children, because they do a wonderful job. I mean, we saw at Christmas time with John Lewis, they teamed up to help our young people, our young vulnerable people. So they have at least 40,000 or more that they've helped to provide practical and emotional care.
Yeah, you're saying every child needs a safe and happy environment, but you didn't have that for many years. So tell people what happened to you when you were a child.
OK, well, when I was a child, I was abandoned as a baby, and some would say left to die. A neighbour heard a baby crying and didn't see anyone coming to the flat for a couple of days. So she called the police, and they banged the door down and rescued the baby. And I spent the next 6 months in hospital with malnutrition and nappy rash.
So you were this close to death?
I was very close. Another day, half a day, I think that would have been it. So I was made a ward of court and then sent to a children's home in Hertfordshire.
As a baby?
As a baby, for 25 other children there. I spent the first 5 years of my life there, and how can I put it? It's really tough because I understand the importance of love and care for these young people. For me, I had a tremendous amount of trauma and neglect in my life. I also suffered emotional and mental and sexual abuse in that period of time. And for the first 5 years...
In the care home itself?
Well, in life generally, because I was also made to go back to the biological family, and I was abused by the mother's lover, sexually raped. But the first 5 years were quite traumatic because, as you can imagine, all the young children, I mean, they're just emotionally, distraught. And every time someone would come to the front window, I would look outside in the car park area and I'd say, is that my mummy coming to get me? And a lot of the children also felt this, there's a tremendous loss, sense of neglect, and vulnerability, which these young children have.
I think I read you said, we were well looked after, catered for, but not
emotionally
loved and loving.
Yeah. I mean, this is my point about every child needs, has the right for a safe and happy childhood.
What was your route out? How did you end up with someone that you could eventually call mum?
Yes, I was very fortunate. Firstly, let me tell you, at the age of 5, I was told by the house matron, Fatima, she said, come down at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning and sit in the foyer because your biological mum's coming with the social worker to take you to see your half-brother and sister and live in another children's home. Well, nobody ever told me that I had a half-brother and sister. I never had any visits or Christmas cards or birthday cards. I did not know I had a family. So it was quite a shock. I mean, that children's home was my family and the children that lived there. And but to fast track you a bit forward, because I know we have only a small amount of time and it's really important for me to get the message out there for our young people. Sport was my saviour, and for a lot of young children, they need to have some focus. They need to feel good about themselves. They need to be able to connect with somebody. And Action for Children allow that to happen. They let these children's voice be heard. They campaign and help, to make lasting improvements in these young children's lives. And that's so important, I think, today, that these children have connection with somebody.
I believe the woman who taught you javelin, she's the first person who ever bought you a present, wasn't she?
Well, fast-tracking, I was at senior school and I was approaching 11 and I was always being told you'll amount to nothing, you'll end up in the board schools at 16 because kids in childcare, they get moved out of their homes at 16, which is another thing we need to get far too young. And my son's 24 and I can't get rid of him. So yeah, I mean, it really is important. I mean, for me, I was always worried about prostituting marijuana and living on the streets, because back then in the 70s, that's what it was like.
And were you a bit bolshy because of all this, do you think?
I was a lovable rogue. I mean, it's tough living in children's homes. They're far different to what they are now. Back then, they're more institutions, and they don't cater for your needs emotionally. And I was a fighter. I used to look after the other children, and there was Auntie Pete, who was one of the house aunties there. She was a Cockney lady, and I remember watching her, hear her clip-clopping down the road, and I looked to see where she lived. And I went out and picked all these daffodils, and I walked to her house and knocked on the door, and I pulled these daffodils out. I said, will you be my mummy?
Oh.
But what she taught me, and this is really key, she taught me, she said, Fats, come around. She said, have a cup of tea and a biscuit. She said, now listen, I can't be your mummy because I've got to be mummy to all those children. She said, so, but I can't always be there. She said, so when I'm not there, she said, you can be there, mummy. She said, you can look after them. She said, in giving, you will receive. And I learned an awful lot from that. So I used to defend and look after those children like they were my own. But sport really was my saviour. And it was through sport that I found my adoptive foster care mother, Margaret.
Yeah, Margaret, and she actually said to you, you can call me Mum,
She did. It took a while. I mean, like anything. I mean, it's this is how it happened. I was playing netball in my school team, and I was very vocal because I wanted my team to win, and it was a tight match for the league final. Of course, following her telling me off a couple of times, the whistle went. The umpire said, "You'll be off," and I said, "Oh, come on!" And so her school team said, the captain said, "Hold on. Fact, she'll send you off." So after the end of the match, my friend who lived in the children's home around the corner, we both decided to go to the local athletic club and try some track and field athletics. And she went off to the sprinters. I saw a tall blonde guy throwing a spear, so off I went there. And he said, "No, you can't throw that, you've got to wait for the coach." So Jack Grinney, the shot put coach, said, "Go and sit in the stand. The javelin coach will be over soon." So I'm sitting there toe tapping, and all of a sudden this Minnie pulled in, and Jack said, here's the coach. And as she walked across, it's that same woman on the net. Oh my God. And when she came across, Jack introduced her, and she said, "I know who you are, young lady." She said, "Any of that cheek on the netball court, you won't be throwing a javelin here."
Oh, listen, Fatima, we could talk to you all day. I'm so sorry, because I do have to go to a break. But that wonderful woman became your foster mother and loved you and helped you. And I know that with Action for Children, that's exactly what you want to do for other children and encouraging other people to become foster carers.
Just definitely want those people that are thinking about foster care, please go on www.actionforchildren.org.uk.
Thank you. And we'll put that website on our page as well. If you've been affected by anything that we've been discussing there with Fatima, there are lots of helplines as well available on our website. Thank you very much again. Still to come, we're going to be revealing the many impressions that people are doing of us, and some of them are spot on. So how important is it to be able to laugh at yourself? And we'll be revealing the weird and wonderful pancakes that people love, but are the toppings an absolute must-have or flipping mad? See you after the break. Do you shudder when someone says, "Enjoy your hollybobs"? Do you go, "Oh"? Well, you're not alone. If you let out a groan, you are not alone. Apparently, hollybobs is the word that Brits find most irritating. Along with, if you don't know what hollybobs is, it's for holidays. Yeah, you did know that. Yeah. The other phrase, they're words and phrases. Another one that people hate: teamwork makes the dream work. Happy Hump Day.
I hate that.
I've used that.
Yeah, I hate that.
I think I've used that on Instagram, Hump Day or somewhere like that.
Sorry, isn't that to do with sex?
It's Wednesday. It's the middle.
I always thought it was that, and then someone said, "No, it's Wednesday."
Too close.
What about nice to meet you?
No,
if
that's
you've emailed
ridiculous.
somebody and you haven't met them, and then you have to say, "Nice to meet you." I've used that in a business capacity. I have. And then this one, got to think outside the box.
Oh, yeah. But what about looping in?
Oh, yeah, looping you.
So you're reaching out, looping in.
I don't get that one. My one that really got me was the Platty Jubes. The Platty... Just call it what it is! The Platinum Jubilee! Don't get it!
Well, yesterday, Kelly said, I'm going to alphabetize or something.
Alphabeticize.
Oh, you know, you're tripped off your tongue, Ruth Langsford.
No, because only because we discussed it yesterday. She says she alphabeticises or something her books, and Janet was like, "What?" She's like, "What do you mean? Put them in alphabetical order?"
I've got a thing about the word condiment and segment.
Why?
I don't like condiments anyway, so I think that comes with it, like, you know, like ketchup and mayo. For the word, and then segment. Just ask for, like, my sister would say a segment of orange. Just ask for a piece of orange.
Well, they're called orange segments, to be fair.
Yeah,
I know, but it's annoying.
I think your problem is with the English language, full stop.
But I was having my makeup done recently, and somebody said, "Oh, I love a bit of Charlotte Tills."
Oh.
Charlotte Tilbury.
Oh, Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte Tills.
Charles Tilbury.
Those are things that we hate. Yeah, mine is reach out. They reached out. I went, what they called you? You mean? Oh, that one, yeah.
It's very American, that.
Yeah,
Right,
it's very American. Now, we've all got our little quirks, some more than others, obviously. But how do you react when you're pointed out to you a series of TikToks by Antonio Fedez, OK? He's doing his best loose women impression. This has gone viral.
Funny.
On Loose, we'll be talking about whether youngsters should be on social media platforms Snapchat. Janet, what do you make of this?
Ruth, I think the kids of today are out of control. They're all over the place. There's no guidance. And quite frankly, I think the government should step in and do something to help the parents.
And what about you, Denise?
Ruth, you know, this is very near and dear to my heart. I'm a mother. A proud one, I must say. But, on the other hand, personally, I think, just a minute, Colleen, I'm a huge supporter of social media.
Denise, we do need to cut to a break.
We need to keep our children at arm's length. We must.
And don't go away, we're just heading for a quick break. Stay tuned for more on Loose.
Very good. That was Antonio Fedez. I mean, I find those hilarious.
Yeah, because you come out of it all right.
Because I'm always like the school mum, like, I'm sorry, but we have to take a break now.
He got you down to a T, didn't he, Janet?
Yeah.
Hated it. Hated it.
We do talk a lot about what the government are going to do about stuff, though.
I'm a journalist.
I've never seen you with red lipstick on, though, to be fair.
No, I hated it.
But can you laugh at yourself? Do you like impressions generally of yourself?
Not much. No, I like good ones. I didn't like Kenny Everett doing me. I've had some really terrible ones. I like my spitting image puppets.
Yes?
They were good. They were sweet.
Do you see it as flattery if someone's doing an impression?
Yeah, they do say that, don't they?
No, I think it can be spiteful.
Unless they're being nasty.
Yeah, if it's nasty, then it's a different ballgame. But I think you've got to laugh at yourself. And in actual fact, that was so funny because it is like that.
It's quite on point.
As soon as he went, "Not now, Colleen," I thought, well, that's the story of my life.
Your one
See?
was all right. Yeah.
Because I keep getting something
You can be generous. You can be generous because yours was all right. Ruth was very posh. And me, I look like...
Janet, I wasn't even in it, so don't worry about it.
No, excuse me. No, you weren't in that one.
No.
Because you did respond to somebody that was doing an impression of you, so you joined it in. Let's have a look at this. It's very funny.
I'm like...
So did you see... Is it him doing that?
Yeah.
So did someone tell you, said, have you seen this? And then
No,
you
he
decided
always
to join
comes up
in?
on my feed. I think it says Bailey. And he's always doing, like, little bits of the Saturdays, but he's always me. And I just thought it would be funny. I just love watching it. But there was a part of me that was like, is that how I used to look like when I used to perform? Like the footwork. But no, I just love it. I think it's great. And people take the time to do it.
Yeah,
that's the thing,
good.
you know.
It's very creative,
funny.
actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Antonio Fedez, we thought it was very funny.
Not me.
But we thought it was very good. We thought it was very good. Thank you for that. So we're going to be testing some weird and wonderful pancake toppings in just a moment. Before we do that, it's competition time again. Here are the details.
We have a life-changing £250,000 to give away. Just imagine how that could warm up your winter. We've been finding out what you would do if you won.
So I would invest it in a beautiful villa in Cyprus.
If I won £250,000, I'd definitely spend it on an Aston Martin.
If I won £250,000, I would spend it on a holiday to Australia.
Best thing about our prize? It's up to you what you do with your winnings. And our February fortune is supersized. If you enter this week, you'll also be in with a chance of winning our bonus prize, a 3-bedroom Parkdean holiday home worth more than £105,000. There are 15 parks across the country where you could have your own home if you win. For another chance to win, text CASH to 82248. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to the website, entries cost £2. Call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to Home08, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE10NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 3rd of March. Make sure you enter before 4 p.m. on Friday the 24th of February for a chance to win the holiday home. Good luck.
Thank you, Josie. Now, today is Shrove Tuesday, or as many of you know it, is Pancake Day. So we're just talking about favourite toppings. You're going to have pancakes tonight? Yes. You want to do the pancakes? So, favourite toppings, mine is just the classic lemon caster sugar. Go, don't mess with the classic.
Boring.
That's enough for me.
Boring.
That's boring. Sorry, what's yours then?
I like some fruit, normally strawberries.
Some fruit?
Some fruit,
Strawberry
a bit of
farm,
chocolate.
then.
Stop trying to make it healthy, Colleen.
It's all vegan, it's all plant-based. But it's chocolate and strawberries and pancake.
Oh, yeah, very healthy.
And that's vegan pancake?
Yeah, that's why it looks a bit like cardboard, but it tastes lovely.
Janet, have you gone classic?
I've gone classic, yeah. This is the kind my mum used to make.
What, that's
nice
what you eat,
and
a pancake with sugar and...
No, I normally have a bit of I was golden syrup as a kid, and then I grew up and went to maple syrup.
Oh, you devil.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, we were talking earlier about some new things that people are doing, because we're a bit behind the curve here, ladies. Yeah, have a look at this. So, so we've got baked beans.
No.
Baked beans are all right.
No.
Kimchi. I think it's fermented cabbage.
Oh, I love that one, please.
Do you like that one, Janet? OK. Ketchup mixed with mayonnaise and pickles. But, Janet, look, you said you like the kimchi.
I love kimchi.
I'm going to have a pickle.
Very good for you, Colleen.
Go on, then.
Fermented cabbage.
Why are you bringing that over this way?
Yeah, but a lot of people, do have savoury.
Very good for me. Why is it not very good for everyone else?
It's good for the gut.
Some people do have savoury pancakes.
Yeah, I like savoury pancakes.
I like those American stacks, you know, the...
Oh, see,
with the
I
bacon.
don't like it when they're like... I was going to say the word fat then, guys.
But what's
when
that
they're
like
thick ones.
With a pancake, Janet? Nice?
It's delicious.
OK.
Yeah, fermented cabbage on my pancake.
You like the enormous ones, not the fat ones.
Yeah,
Can't say
the
fat,
enormous.
can't say enormous.
It's enormous.
Yeah, sorry. You can tell these ones aren't homemade, though, are they?
Well, I'm going to be enormous after this.
Well, listen, whatever you're having on your pancake... Don't be beastly. Yeah, whatever you're having on your pancake, lemon sugar, baked beans, kimchi, whatever you fancy, enjoy Pancake Day. We've got to go now, but we will... Oh, I know. Every day it makes me sad. But that's
What's that about lying?
Today. Colleen's like that. Really sad to be going. All right, that is really it for today. Tomorrow we're going to be joined by Dragon's Den star Deborah Meaden. So have a great Pancake Day, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.